Good morning and welcome to the 2018 prom and graduation press event. I'm April Cabrera. I am a program manager with Community Affairs in the Bristol County District Attorney's Office, and I'm also the chair of the Bristol County Underage Substance Use Prevention Task Force, who is responsible for putting on this event as well as the Teen Safety Summit we do. So we're gonna start with some opening remarks from our very own Mayor John Mitchell.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. I'm really pleased that we are holding this meeting as the weather is getting warm. The trees are starting to bloom. It's springtime, and that, of course, means that it's prom season. And prom season means, among other things, that we have to take, as parents, as community leaders, as anybody who cares about kids, have to take the risks of drunken driving seriously. Obviously, drunken driving is a problem 365 days a year, and that we have to take the very real risk of drunken driving seriously every day, but it's especially important around prom season for a number of reasons. The first is just the incidence of drunken driving this time of year, and I think we're all familiar with, and some all too familiar with, the tragedies that have happened around proms over the years. Those numbers are down, but those tragedies are very memorable and glaring. And so it's incumbent upon us to work to sensitize the public, especially high schoolers, that even though you might not even think of going out and getting in a car accident, it happens and has happened. Thankfully, folks like DA Tom Quinn and his team have been very active throughout Bristol County, here in Greater New Bedford, but throughout Bristol County in the work of sensitizing youth around the risks of drunken driving. Those risks, again, are real. I just want to throw out a couple of data points. There are, according to MAD, which does great work, Mothers Against Drunk Driving has done enormously, has championed the cause of drunken driving prevention over the last 30 or 40 years. They are the authority. 4,300 people are killed each year due to teen alcohol use. Youth who start drinking early are 6 times more likely to develop substance abuse or dependence later in life. And there are over 10,000 deaths a year, some 29 a day, one way or the other, almost one every 50 minutes due to drunken driving. It's still a national problem, and we are more than pleased that in the years since a lot of us in the room were in high school, there have been efforts by parents to provide adult supervision of after prom activities. And so if there's anything I can say here, it's really 2 things. One is, again, thank you, DA Quinn, for your leadership on this very important public health and safety issue. And then secondly, I just want every kid out there to know that there are, in Greater New Bedford, affiliated with every high school, there are opportunities to do stuff after the prom, and it's not uncool to do those things, right? Every high school has a set of parents who is putting on a party, and they're not going to tell every high school, they're not going to be breathing down your neck at the party, they're not going to be babysitting you. It's a safe, there are gyms, there are other settings where parents can be there and make sure that no undue risks are taken, and I just urge every high schooler to take advantage of those opportunities because they're out there. So again, I want to thank Tom. I want to thank the chief for his leadership on this issue, and I want to thank the entire team for making it so prominent an issue well in advance of prom season, so everybody can schedule things appropriately. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. Now we'll hear from our police chief, Joe Khedira.
Thank you. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse, so you have to bear with me. But that. I'll surely be much quicker because of it. I want to thank Mayor Mitchell and District Attorney Quinn for really spearheading this conference here and trying to bring awareness to the level that we can really make a difference, right? This is the season, as the mayor was talking about, prom season. It's a time for us to celebrate, right? Kids are graduating high school, they're going to their prom, these memorable events. But at the same time, we come to the crossroads where a celebration can lead into a tragedy. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. And we see it every year, whether it's through drinking and driving or even speeding. Our region, generally, we suffer annually in this district, not just New Bedford, but Bristol County, where we have young lives that are lost because of it. So what can we really do about it? These young kids, it's easy for us just to blame them, but we have to understand that their brains are not fully mature. Their brain chemistry is conducive to risky behavior. That, and you couple that with the invincibility factor that youth have, that they're invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to them. And we do have a recipe for disaster. And you couple that with the season of celebration, then it puts everybody at really high risk. What can we do about it? What we don't want is more body bags. That's what we don't want. We're tired of that. Law enforcement, we do our best, and the DA's office do our best to try to prevent this. But what we really need is a cry from the community. We need parents to have this conversation with your kids, not once, because once simply is not enough. And it's just not parents. Coaches, you have an opportunity to talk to your athletes. Have that opportunity to talk about them so they can go on to college next year and continue doing what they love, playing sports. Teachers, I know you got a serious lesson plan right now. It's MCAS season, I believe. That's important. But this is a lesson that we cannot afford not to give to our kids. Have the conversation with the kids. Guidance counselors, same. You have that opportunity to have that conversation. As I said, once is simply not enough because of all those factors we talked about. The brain development, the invincibility factor. It's a time of celebration. So we got to keep hitting them with that conversation. Like I said, we're really we're tired of the body bags, and there's nothing to kill a season more than a fatality. And it impacts not just that individual, it's the entire family, it's the friends. It's a terrible memory to have of your graduation season, that your good buddy didn't make it to the next season of their life. So please have that conversation, and again, thank DA Quinn, Mayor Mitchell, and my law enforcement partners that are out there doing a job. But this really requires all hands on deck, and it's right now, so thank you.
Now we're going to bring up the man of the hour, our very own District Attorney, Tom Quinn.
Thank you, April. Thank you, Mayor Mitchell, for hosting this and making those appropriate comments. And the law enforcement representatives who are here from New Bedford, Chief Khedira, Swansea, Seekonk, Dartmouth, and the Alcohol Beverage and Control Commission, which is appropriate for this topic. Also members of the task force. As the mayor said, this is prom and graduation season. It's a milestone for many people. People are moving on different phases of their lives, but unfortunately, often we hear tragedies that result from drinking and that impact people's family lives, family members, and friends for the rest of their lives. This is essentially a public service message. The opiate issue is a huge issue, but alcohol is still a #1 drug of choice among teens. According to recent studies, 60% of Massachusetts teens have tried alcohol. Years ago, the drinking age was 18. Now it's 21. It's illegal for obviously all of these people to be drinking. It poses a public health risk and also impacts the safety of others. People drinking, their passengers, and innocent people on the roadway. So we're trying to support every effort possible to get this message out. I think young people have to, frankly, as a parent, I thought the proms, when my 3 children had proms, were a very anxious time, to be honest with you. Where are they going? Where are they coming? Who are they going to be with? And I think those are some of the points that parents, in particular, need to be involved in, and I think are. As the mayor mentioned, we can speak here about the dangers of drinking and driving and alcohol use during these seasons, but the parents have more control than we do. As was mentioned, I think There are many activities sponsored. I help assist in sponsoring some of these after-prom parties that are healthy activities to dissuade people from going out and engaging in activity that could cause a tragedy. I think parents have to encourage their children to be safe, to make healthy decisions, and set limits on what their children should be doing. People don't, some may be technically adults, but obviously many people don't act like that, especially when they're in a celebratory mood and are with their friends. So I think parents have to be involved. The schools have gone to great lengths to host these activities, which I think are positive and are supervised by adults. I think you've got to communicate. I want to emphasize communication with your children. If you're a parent, text them. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? That has to be done because the police can't do it, nor can we. I think we've also sponsored, I think, a very important thing, a program called Hidden Plain Sight. We bring this display to various locations. It's coming up in Attleboro and Norton later this month, but alcohol and drugs can be secreted in areas you would think are innocent, like a tennis ball. Be on the lookout for that, especially on these nights. So I want to thank everybody coming together here. These are very serious issues. If someone is killed during this season, this will last and gnaw at the family and siblings and friends for the rest of their lives. So if we can prevent it, it just has a significant impact on people's lives. I want to congratulate young people. It's a happy time, the proms, the graduation, but beware of the risks that can ruin your life and that of your family. Again, I want to close by thanking everybody here, help get this message out. I think it's important to get out this time of year. I wish the students, high school, college, the best. These are important milestones, moving on to college or work, and I wish them the best. I now would like to introduce Crystal Stone, Manager of Communications, Public Relations and Fundraising for the Katie Brown Educational Project to discuss their new consent campaign. Thank you.
I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Mitchell and District Attorney Tom Quinn for putting on this great and so relevant event. Figured I'd start with a quick statistic. 1 in 3 adolescent students, so nearly 1.5 million high school students in the U.S. experience some type of physical, sexual, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner. So just let that sink in for a moment. The Katie Brown Educational Program provides evidence-based peer relationship violence prevention instruction to 4th grade through high school students, as well as teenagers and adults outside of the classroom. Our program was founded in 2001 in response to the brutal murder of a young girl named Catherine Brown. She was murdered by the man she had dated on and off since high school. We believe that early and frequent education is the proven foundation and channel for creating permanent change in attitudes and behaviors, for reducing violence and promoting respectful, healthy relationships. At KBEP, our goal is to create a culture in schools and society at large in which abuse is not tolerated. We recognize that prom season presents a timely opportunity to remind young people about the characteristics of healthy relationships. KBEP, through the Consent Awareness Campaign, encourages students to pledge to promote respectful behaviors in dating relationships, especially this time of year. During the prom season, students participate in a brief, relevant assembly that defines consent and, most importantly, talks about how drugs and alcohol can put them at risk, at a higher risk, I should say, of becoming a perpetrator or victim of sexual violence. After this informational assembly, students pledge to abstain from violent behaviors, and the students that choose to take the pledge are given a booklet. This is the booklet for this year, actually. And the booklet includes safety tips, resources, as well as coupons for discounts at area salons, florists, and other services to help offset the cost of prom season. This program is offered in partnership, really I should say it couldn't be possible without the assistance of District Attorney Tom Quinn and his team, and we're proud to say that over 5,000 students have taken this pledge since its inception. This year we recently had this pledge was performed at BMC Durfee High School, and we're looking forward to having students at Diamond and Taunton High School take the pledge in the near future. Thank you. And thank you, Ken.
So this concludes our speakers for this morning, but for those parents who are saying, well, talk to my kid, where do I start? I don't even know where to begin. The District Attorney's Office offers resources for that, and so we have some brochures available on our website, and I'll leave some here at City Hall as well. So if you go to bristolda.com, under the Community Affairs tab, it's the Underage Drinking and Drug Prevention section. You'll find the what teens need to know about underage drinking, what parents need to know about underage drinking. So it talks about the social host laws. It gives you tips and pointers on how to start the conversation with your kids, because it's really, really important that you do have that conversation. And I thank you all for coming this morning, and that's the end of our conference.
Thank you.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.